So I'm filming another video today because I saw a series floating around where people are doing the 2021 vinyl tag, and I looked at the questions and it looked like something I wanted to do. So I've got all my albums down here and let's get into the questions. So, a discovery in 2020. Now, I presume that's something that I found myself in 2020. I'm gonna say No Pussyfooting by Robert Fripp and Brian Eno. I discovered this at the end of the year and I absolutely loved it. As I mentioned, I'm a big King Crimson fan, and then I just decided to take a look at Robert Fripp's solo stuff and I stumbled upon this, and it's the most beautiful atmospheric music I think I've ever heard. A quarantine buy. I bought Brain Salad Surgery by Emerson, Lake and Palmer at about 2 in the morning because I had listened to it at 2 in the morning and I didn't have it and I wanted it, so I impulsively bought this album. A box set. I'm just going to show a random box set. We got the Farewell to King's 40th anniversary box set. This is a very heavy box set, but I have the 2112 box set as well, and I had to get this one because I love Farewell to Kings. I love Rush. Maybe I'll do a whole, if you're interested, I can do a whole video about this box because I love it. There's so much to unpack from it, and the album itself is just brilliant. A concept album, Dream Theater's Scenes from a Memory, and I'm not going to go into the story because you can find that out for yourself, but I think it's an amazing concept album. I love Dream Theater, great modern day prog, as I've mentioned in my top 10 prog albums. I'll link that up here. But they're a great band if you haven't checked them out already. Really a bit of a throwback to kind of older prog, but mixed in with like Metallica, Iron Maiden influences, Black Sabbath, stuff like that. And they make for a great band. And a great live band too. They did a concert in London which I went to, and they actually recorded it and made a vinyl pressing of it, and I got it as soon as it came out because I was there, so I had to have it. An album where an artist changed directions. So I don't need to really explain this one, but they went from cheesy 60s pop music to psychedelic rock, and that transition, it's amazing. The next one was a white label promo, and I searched my entire collection and I don't have one, so I'm not able to show one for that, unfortunately. A compilation album. This is the only compilation album I own. It is Hatful of Hollow by The Smiths. Now, I like The Smiths, they're a good band, but I wouldn't go out of my way to buy all their albums or anything, so that's why I got this, because it's got some good songs on it. I've got The Queen is Dead, obviously, but I got this at a record store and I love it. An album that needs a vinyl pressing. Now, I could say it's about any Tool album, but this one, my 10,000 Days and my Fear Inoculum copies are all bootlegs, so I would love if the band actually released these as licensed albums, because I think Undertow and Lateralis are official albums, but this 10,000 Days and Fear Inoculum are all bootleg presses, which they sound amazing, but I'd love if the band actually released them into the media as proper pressings rather than having to seek out bootlegs. A common album, I'm guessing a common album for everyone, Led Zeppelin 4. I think that pretty much every record collector owns Led Zeppelin 4, correct me if I'm wrong, but most videos I see everyone's got a copy of Led Zeppelin 4. I think it's just at this point you just have it. You are born with a copy of Led Zeppelin 4, everyone's got this album. And this is one of the first albums I got when I was getting into classic rock, so it's definitely an important one to have if you don't have it already or haven't listened to it, which I'm sure most of you have anyway. I love Led Zeppelin. This isn't my favourite album of theirs. My favourite album is probably Led Zeppelin 3 or Led Zeppelin 2, but also Physical Graffiti is a good album as well, but this one's the one I think everyone has, or most people. And in that same question, an uncommon album, Herges Ridge by Mike Goldfield. It's the album sandwiched between Tubular Bells and On the Dawn, two magnificent albums. This is also a magnificent album if you haven't checked it out already. It's got a similar vibe to Tubular Bells, but a bit more folky, and I've not seen this in anyone's collections that I've watched recently, so this one's definitely one to pick up if you're a fan of prog and folk music. An EP, I don't have many EPs, but I've got this Metallica EP that was released quite recently on orange vinyl, and I love Metallica. Favourite album? Ride the Lightning, probably, but this is also good. This is very early stuff, and I really love it, and maybe other people share the same love for this. Even though I'm Neve the prog nerd, I do have that place in my heart still from when I was massively into metal, and as you can tell I've got my Black Sabbath poster over there, so it's still there, it's just everything's taken over by prog at the moment. A girl group. I don't have any albums from all girl groups. I've got one from a female singer. This is Beach House Depression Cherry. I've also got Bloom by Beach House. This is incredible music. It's like dream pop kind of music, and I adore this album. I don't remember how I found this album, probably through a friend, but it's on the same wavelength with Tame Impala, where not many people would actually think that I like this kind of stuff, but I absolutely love the vibes so much, so relaxing, and every time I've kind of had a bit of a shit day, I would probably play at least one Beach House song. So they're not prog at all, but if you like dream pop, kind of synthy pop music, I recommend this highly. An album cover I love. I have so many. I have so many album covers that I love, so it was really hard to pick one. So I went with Trilogy. I don't know why. I just really love this album cover for some reason. Like, I look at this album and I feel happy. You know, it's one of my favourite album covers for some reason. I guess the artwork, the way that they're drawn, you know. I just like this album cover. I could have picked so many others, but I like this one. I don't know why.
It's 100% not because I think Greg Lake is the most beautiful person in the world.
An album you'd listen to the most. We all know where this is going. I think this is the third time I've shown this in one of these videos. I'm not going to go back into detail, but Nursery Crime. Listened to it hundreds of times at this point on vinyl. And if you haven't listened to early Genesis, which is my favourite era of Genesis, and I'm sure many prog fans will agree with me there, up until about 75, that's my kind of Genesis, Peter Gabriel era Genesis. Please just listen to this and you'll see why it's my most played album. An album I had to get an OG copy of. I have this pressing of Yes Songs, Japanese pressing of Yes Songs, which is a very old copy in very, very good condition. I'd say near mint, definitely, but it's an old copy. It's not an original, but it is old. So I had to get this one because it looked the coolest. You know, I love getting Japanese pressings. I've got a Japanese pressing of All Things Must Pass by George Harrison, and unfortunately that's left out one of my favourite tracks on the album. But this is a very good album. I had to get an original of this. The last album I purchased, Trespassed by Genesis, one of their first albums, and I haven't given this a listen to yet, but I'm thoroughly looking forward to listening to it. I listened to it once, but I listened to it on Spotify, so I'm hoping to get a better experience for listening to it on vinyl. An album they don't get. I'm guessing this means like something that you get but maybe like your friends or family don't understand or don't like. I pondered on this one for a very long time because I share my music taste with a lot of people and a lot of people like the same things as me, but I managed to pick out Primus. I don't know anyone that likes Primus. I've never heard anyone say that they like Primus, to me at least. Any of my friends or family. Wacky, weird, kind of prog, kind of not music. Very Frank Zappa. Very, very Frank Zappa. If you like Zappa, give Primus a good go. They're kind of like Tool and Frank Zappa had a baby and popped out Primus. So this is my favourite album of theirs. If you haven't heard of them already, I reckon you check them out. They are very, very good. A punk album. I did have a phase of listening to punk quite a lot, more like the 70s punk, like the Ramones and Sex Pistols and The Clash, but I went with The Misfits because they are my favourite punk band if I had to pick one, because I love this kind of early Misfits with Glenn Danzig. That's my type of Misfits, and it's just the rawness of the music is what I really like. It's short, it's snappy, doesn't go on for ages. The complete opposite of what I love at the moment, but I do love the Misfits a lot, and I do like punk. So that's the end of this video. I know, 2 videos in one day. Crazy. But I just had to film this video because I had so many albums that I wanted to show. So if you guys enjoyed this video, then let me know. I'm planning on doing a vinyl collection video because people have been asking for it. The problem is that I've got quite a lot of albums and it will take a long time to film. So if it's in high demand, I'll do it. But my camera quality is pretty shit. It's my phone, and I dropped my phone loads of times and the camera's kind of beat up. But I can try my best. I can ask a friend for a camera, I guess. But if it's something that you guys would really want to see, I can do it. It would definitely be a series, though. It would have to be in a few parts because I would just not be able to make a full video because no one would watch it. It would definitely be at least 45 minutes long. Let me know some video ideas. I've got box sets that I can show. I've got some kind of vinyl community-esque kind of videos, like my setup or how to start a collection, how I started a collection, how I got into music, stuff like that. If that's what you want to see, then I would love to hear it. Thanks for the support, and I'll see you another time. Bye.